Ooh, let's see if this works. All right, welcome. Actually, I'm using something new, some new technology, which looks like a fuzzy bird, but it's really a little mic. So, can somebody let me know? Can you hear me? And I think you could see me. Can you hear me? Just give me a check, check, check. Microphone check. Shabbat shalom, goddess. Ooh. Connie, can you hear me? Actually, anybody who just signed on, can you hear me? Papa, can you hear me? You hear me? Cool. I'm using a little mic, a lavalier. Welcome, welcome, all my friends. Yay, Gregory, I'm glad you're here. Some fear fuckers up in the house. Welcome. It's Crazy Town. And I want to share a little bit about energy. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, everybody, for chiming in to let me know. I've been doing some filming today. I'm working with an amazing videographer, content dude, and it's so amazing to feel seen and heard on a weekly basis in a really clear way with somebody who asks amazing questions. So I did my makeup. Ooh la la. A couple things I want to share and show you. So 2020, hey? Hey, Josette, all these amazing motherfuckers. First of all, I want everyone to know the 24-hour room is still happening. I'll post the link for that because it's good. We all need each other right now. So I made this in the beginning of the year. It's a 2020 chart, and I pulled animal cards, and the months have been moving very quickly in this year, quickly and slowly, and all kinds of crazy. But for June, I picked the dragonfly. And the dragonfly is about focusing on the breath. And it's the 6th month of the year, which you all know. And dragonflies are really fucking magical. So let's do a little bit of breathing together. Yeah, the room is still on. Um, and I invite you not only to join the room, but post about it, share it with your friends. Um, because what happened was it was the same 6 people signing on all the time, which was cool, but it got to feel like very inclusive energy. Um, Thank you, Boris. Not inclusive. It felt like I don't know. It just felt like it was the same people all the time, and I think it's fun to have new energy keep coming in with this same energy there. Anyway, so just share it. Come on in and share it. I'll post the link. I am mixing up our love cards. We need love, fierce love, like of a resistant teenager. We need to love all of ourselves right now, like a teenager who's having major energy that's fueled with lots of meh. So let's take a breath. Everybody sit up as tall as you can. I got my Cadillac shirt on. I have this shirt for a really long time and I love it. Who doesn't love a Cad-do? Okay, so I'm mixing up the cards. This one wanted to jump out. Individuality. I'll pick another one. Let's see. Connie was the first one on. So Connie, why don't you pick a number between 1 and 11. Okay, great. I'm glad you are, Andy. Andy is in Minnesota. All right, so mixing up the cards. And while we're mixing up the cards, I invite you to exhale all the breath in your body. That might mean you just slump your shoulders. Oh, thank you. I wanted to pick 11, Connie. Thank you for picking the number. I was already thinking. Okay, 1, 2. Keep breathing. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ooh. I mean, if we ever needed this card, I want to underline all situations. You know, I went into some darkness last week, and yesterday, as you all saw my dance celebration when it lifted, it may seem like, oh, love is not okay here. This is really fucking serious. And I brought my fear phone today because, in case any of you need to talk on it, you might need to share some fears in the fear phone. My teenager inside is afraid of a lot of things. I know, Josette, me too. I went dark. And I was like, joy is not welcome, anger. It's just anger and rage and grief, anger and rage and grief and sadness, anger. And then I was like, it wasn't a conscious decision. Believe me, this wasn't like, oh yeah, I should apply love here. You know, when I'm watching crazy fucking shit, like, now listen, everyone knows I live in a beautiful bubble. I don't watch the news. I don't read the paper. I don't have friends outside of my goddess, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, that's the same shit that people who are different than me are doing. They're like shutting people out. And if I'm here to live in the priestess self, if I'm here to live in the Kadesha version of myself, which is Jewish priestess, then I can't block out people, even the most fucked up people. And I wrote a post about this. And that fucked with me, right? So when you start to let in the dark or whatever, different energies, they come in. Okay, let me know if it's, how about that? How's that? I'm playing with the microphone. Thank you, Gregory. So what are our priorities? Actually, why don't you share? I'm going to talk about some priorities. How's this sound now, Greg? Is your priority to fight? Is your priority to prove yourself? Is your priority to stay angry? Now, here's the thing. Yes, feel the darkness. Yes, feel the rage. There was a goddess in my community that thought I was giving a supreme racist a pass. I'm not giving anybody a pass. Police brutality is fucked up, and it's been fucked up forever. But here's the thing. Even if you change laws, even if you change the whole Constitution, people see shit through a filter that is ingrained in their eyeballs. Priorities. You understand the paramount importance of manifesting love in all situations. Now, if I watched one video, I'm going to talk about it a little bit because it really proves my point. There was these 3 white police officers, and there was a guy in a red shirt, a black guy in a red shirt, and they started arresting him and hassling him and fucking with him. And this dude was like, you guys are idiots. You're fucking idiots. Da, 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 da. He ended up being an FBI agent. And he showed his card. And the police were like, oh. So if these police officers, hey, Sarah, if these police officers, let's say they have the best training in all the world, but they were raised in a house where their mommy and daddy said all black people look the same. Guess what? They think they're doing the right thing, and it's beyond their capacity to even imagine that all black men don't look the same. Because that is a belief in a lot of racist communities. And, you know, where I grew up in my neighborhood, that was a thing. That was it. All black people look the same. It's so fucking stupid. It's stupid to us. It just started pouring. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. Anyway, I say this to say, if we're looking for love and acceptance and looking for peace, eventually we can't shut anybody out. And that does not mean I need to go engage with every racist or write a comment or connect with them and try to love them. No, 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 no. This is not the mundane level I'm talking of. I'm talking of the higher level because, on a grand scale, energy wise, energy has nothing to do with color of skin. And right now, there's a lot of energy out there. A lot of energy. And some of it's angry, some of it's sad, some of it's ignorant, some of it's this, that, and it's all over the place. And everyone's body is exuding energy and exudes energy in different places, in different ways. So before you let your energy be reactive, take a moment and let's figure out what are our priorities. What are our priorities? Is your priority to change the minds of racist people? That's the thing. Is your priority to choose? Yeah, what? I don't know. I don't even want to give priorities. I kind of want to know what your priorities are. Connie has a priority to see love everywhere. Love is everywhere. You know, it could be kind of hokey, but it's not. It's really not. And I've already actually seen some changes in the way that women and men in my communities are communicating with each other. You know, they named the street sign right outside of the White House Black Lives Matter. So that's a change. Is it ever going to be enough? Time will tell. But if you definitely focus on your priorities and the priorities of your family, of your communities, then when something happens, you don't go into reactive mode, but you respond. You relax your asshole. You take a breath. You see someone where they're coming from, and you're like, oh shit, look, all he wants to do is play cops and robbers. I get it. It's the wounded masculine. It's fucked up. I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not in my wounded masculine. I'm not in my wounded feminine. I'm aware that other people are. And when you have a wounded masculine that was wounded at 3 and 4 years old and never got addressed, they never had any therapy, they never had any self awareness, and then they go become a police officer, and then they're like, let me do a cycle of steroids because I want to bulk up. Then, when they're on the street and an elderly man with a fucking cane comes over and they just do this, but actually it's like that, it's the wounded masculine, it's the steroids, and then police get a bad rap. All police are not bad. Great. Boris, perfect. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And selfish gets a bad rap. You know, I think if we were more selfish, it would be better. As long as we had similar priorities. That's important. Great. I love your priorities, Robert. That's why we get to hang in similar spaces. Yay, Natalie. I'm so glad you're here. Oh, home teaching. Welcome to Teacherville. Okay, great. Boris, I'm so glad when people interact. It feels really good. Okay, so Boris shares, it's crazy here in Virginia for racism. Not blatant, but subtle and underground. Hard to rectify that. Yeah, man. You know, like the small little towns where racism is like in your face, you know, clutching of the pearls and shit. Well, it might not change right this second, but you even sharing that, Boris, is something that we haven't done. Nobody shares like, oh, my neighborhood's racist. Now they do. And there's gonna have to be some riding the roller coaster of victim, because that's what's gonna happen. And then it's gonna get messy, and then it's gonna get even more messy, and then it's gonna get good, then it's gonna be forgotten, then it's going to get messy again. So it's going to be a ride. And that ride is the feminine, right? Chaos, emotions, creativity, resourcefulness. So don't give up. Bigger things are happening than we can even know of right now. Bigger than we even know. Just remember, there used to be segregation. There used to be women couldn't vote, blacks couldn't vote. And that changed, right? So hold out for hope. Hold out for faith. Take care of yourself. Make sure you're safe. Help a friend, help a neighbor, on a very ground level. If you're going to go to a protest, bring love in your heart. Doesn't mean you can't shout for what you believe in, but bring love with you. Bring hope. Bring faith with you. Okay, Connie shares. Truly, my full-time job, number one priority is to feel as good as I can. That is my revolutionary act, which I believe serves the highest good of all. It leads, to inspired action where the divine works through me and I can get to be the cooperative component that brings the highest good for all. I mean, if that's not the best said shit ever. My priority is to keep raising my vibration so I can contribute for my best self. Okay, this is what happens when the goddesses show up. There's some air, breath, Now, goddesses let me be really fucking clear here. This is the work of goddesses, and the work of goddesses that happens behind the scenes isn't that pretty. Just so you know, I really want to represent the fact that when goddesses and kings speak up here, it's it's a beautiful, it's the result. But in the work that we do, there's a lot of mess and there's a lot of rage and there's a lot of darkness. But here's what I want to say about the darkness. People, we go to sleep in the dark and it's cozy there. The seeds grow in the dark. It's warm there. Sorry, I almost got to talking about the unsexy course, because when you're sexy and you have intercourse, it's dark and warm in there. Darkness is okay. Right in this minute, if you don't know what shadow work is, well, the world is in shadow right now. Shadow is the things that nobody wants to talk about. That is so fucking uncomfortable that in our hearts, it's like, ugh. Like right now, I feel this heaviness here, but this lightness up here. Because it's the shadow that is like fighting and uncomfortable and pointing fingers and blaming. And that's the shadow that hasn't moved towards the light yet. Right now, in this explanation of like looking at everybody's comments, we've been through a little bit of shadow. So yesterday I danced my ass off, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm bringing it to Facebook Live and I'm blowing bubbles. Because if we stay too long in the darkness with our eyes closed and the blindfold, our bodies start to implode. And you're seeing a lot of that in racist communities, right? Like the people who are placing bricks around and throwing bricks, they've been waiting for this moment to get fucking fierce and ugly. And that's what you're seeing. When you see people's energy shaking and screaming, it's energy that they've been trying to keep down. Don't come out. But when the energy comes out, it looks like a tantrum. Now, these are not 4-year-old tantrums that we're seeing. They're 45-year-old tantrums. They're 50-year-old tantrums, and they need space. We can't shut down protesting. It's like I think about vegans who say, like, when you eat meat, there's suffering. Well, have you watched National Geographic? Have you seen how a snake eats a mouse? I mean, there's tons of violence. It has to be. So When you want people to be peaceful, that's a fucking joke. That's a joke. Every system we have has darkness in it. I'll speak from a teacher's point of view. When I was teaching and then I was a therapist, and anybody who wants to speak up on this, there are teachers, I mean, I would say 80% of teachers work with fear as a way of teaching children. And they're also really obnoxious. Like, I can't even go into that. That's exhausting. Teachers, police, places of power, if they're not self-aware, then they're assholes. I worked with so many fucking white teachers that were teaching little brown and black boys and girls. They were so mean to them. So mean. Now, I'm sure they would have been mean to anybody. They were old, bitty, fucked up teachers. But you know what happens to little 3 and 4-year-old boys who learn tall white lady being mean to me? Well, they carry that shit with them. You know, today I didn't see the whole thing, but George Floyd's, I think it was his first grade teacher. Wow. Wow, that just really hit my heart. She was talking about him, and she had a picture and a poem that he wrote, and she was showing it. Find this if you could see it. And she was like, wow. It's okay, just gonna breathe for a minute. I don't have to rush. Yeah. There's only so much I can do this until it really hits my heart. You know, I was a teacher for a long time, and I taught little black boys and little black girls and little children from Mexico and all over the world. And I took the responsibility of being maybe the only white woman in their world, or forget that. Maybe I was a woman in power of their lives. You know, I would see them every day from like 8:30 to 3 p.m. every day. My teaching was their world. And if I looked at them like this, they would learn. That is what teaching feels like. That's what learning feels like. And when teachers or police or anyone in power doesn't take responsibility for the power they have, it goes wrong. Oh, I have a fucking story, and this will get me so mad. I went for an application process, an interview at a school. And I met with this principal asshole motherfucker, and I went into his office. Mind you, I never worked in a public school, and here's why. I went into his office and I sat down, and he said, "So, Shane Coleman, you want to be a teacher in this school?" And I was already feeling like I was in trouble. And he said to me, "What are you going to do when you get a kid like this?" And he pointed to this little boy sitting behind me. And I literally went, and he was trying to make it like, "Oh yeah, you see, scared little white girl." And he was a white principal, white fucking asshole. And I looked at this boy, and I went like that, like, "Yeah, homie, I don't fucking know what we're gonna do right now." Like, I sided with that kid. But when principals of schools, and listen, of course there's great principals and teachers, but when there's people in power who don't take responsibility and don't have self-awareness, we see what happens. People get hurt. Oh my God. Okay, dragonfly, let's come back to breath. Let out a sound. Take another breath in. Hey, Pamela, I'm glad you're here. What's up, Connie? So glad you've stayed. Rebecca, welcome. I'm so glad all the goddesses, a lot of goddesses are here. Woo. Take another deep breath in, release with a sound. Give yourself a massage. I have a little oil. Hi, Cooper, I see you. Rub your face. Don't forget, everybody, our bodies have nervous systems. And if those nervous systems aren't taken care of, we get pain in our body. I hear you. Hey, Heather Feather in the house. Yeah, we have to start taking responsibility for ourselves and know how much power we hold. As white people in charge of shit. And then also, and everybody, just everybody as a human race, we need to really own, like, oh shit, when I look at someone that has power, fact. And we also have to understand the priorities of everybody is not the same. I think I do want to. I do want to shake it out. I don't want to do it on this live though, because as soon as I get up, I want to, like, really. So let's just shake whatever we're sitting with. Thank you, Connie. This is why I stopped being a therapist, just talk therapist, because there's only so much you could talk about until your body needs to be reminded that it has more power than the brain. Our minds are not our friends. So we're almost at the half hour mark anyway. So I'm going to shut this shit and thank you all for showing up. I have a really fun light on me. So I'm playing with that. And what did I do with the card? Priorities. Actually, I'm going to close just reading what the card for priorities says. It usually gives like a little thing to do. So this is going to be the thing to do for the weekend. I don't want to read the whole thing. I just want to read this sentence. Stop. Listen to your heart. Listen to your heart when it's calling for you. Who sings that? Stop. Listen to your heart. Your number one goal is to love yourself and share that love. I mean, Connie, you fucking said it. All the other diversions rank after that. Love in this physical dimension is not easy, nor was it meant to be. You have to practice, install. Oh my God, Connie, I spring cleaned on the word duality this morning, and I didn't even say duality. I said sexuality. And my spring clean partner said, okay, duality. I was like, whoa. So consciously now, I'm going to work with duality and look that shit up. Close, close. Do you want to know, Heather? Try again. I know you know. I'm going to read that again. Stop. Listen to your heart. Your number one goal is to love yourself and share that love. All the other diversions rank after that. Life in this physical dimension is not easy, nor was it meant to be. You have to practice instilling the energy of love into your habitual thought process. Prioritizing and decision making then becomes so much easier. The choice always comes down to love. Boom. That's it. Case, I got nothing else to say after that shit. Cards away. That's it. Share what you want. I'm going to close us out with some drumming. Drumming and breathing. And I want to give you this Sanskrit prayer, which is Loka Samasta Sukhinam Bhavantu. May all beings be happy and free. May all beings be happy and free. Take a breath in. Relax your asshole. And exhale. Fear lives in the root chakra. Fear lives in our ass. Relax your asshole. Take a breath. And exhale. By the way, it is a full moon. Embrace this energy. Have a great weekend. Today is the registration for the unsexy course. We're going to learn how to communicate in really tough times. I have to go feed Cooper. He's being a little obnoxious and is probably hungry. Blessings on your weekend all. Bye for now.